and you're getting into the top shelf stuff now, Lisa. You're going to get me all wound up over here because now you're telling the truth where so many people are trying to be what they already are, and they're driving themselves nuts trying to be something they already are. And they look at everything around, and I hear it all the time, and God made this beautiful earth. So imagine what God would think of you if he did make these beautiful earths and this majestic oceans and plains and mountains and beauty, and then put you in charge.
Right.
How powerful are you, and how amazing are you? But unfortunately, and based on a lot of the feedback, unfortunately, you walk into a bookstore, but before I get to the no matter what section, before I get to the Lisa Nichols section and the chicken soup section, I pass by a series of walls that have magazines that tell me I'm too fat and I'm not blonde enough and I don't eat well enough and I'm not educated enough and the Hyundai I'm driving isn't good enough and you start seeing that section. How do they break through that, Lisa? How they're bombarded because you know that there's an equal and opposite that doesn't want people to know.
Absolutely.
That no matter what mindset is poison to some certain industry.
Absolutely.
And how do they break free from that?
Yes. So first of all, you have to start the day with you. You can't start the day with anyone else. You cannot, I start my day giving my gratitude for God. I bring myself to tears every morning in my bed with gratitude, starting from the fact that I can breathe this morning. I can see, I can touch every little thing. I mean, my son prays for when we eat, and I think he's kind of taking on my prayer because he prays forever. So the food's gonna get cold, but it's gonna be a really good message, because he prays. And I want to thank you for the pepper, God, and he goes into detail, right? But detail, God loves detail. We love detail. So number one, start the day off with you. Get in the mirror and do this exercise. This exercise is in the book, so you'll have a chance to read it if you don't catch all the details now. But do this exercise, and I got to tell you, this exercise that I'm about to give you, if you just do this for 28 days, I'm not magic. There's no sprinkle fairy dust. There's no potion lotion. There's no spritz that's going to change your world. But if you truly do it, live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, there will be a shift. It's not going to be magical. It's not going to be life's not going to all of a sudden change, but you're going to walk through life with a different sense of power. Just from this one thing, and I can tell you that because in one of my other darkest days, Steve, when I was in a relationship where I was 5 months from being married, and my fiance, I wasn't listening to my internal GPS, and my fiance picked me up and threw me 3 feet across the room, and then he choked me until I passed out. And getting up physically from that relationship was easy, but getting up spiritually and emotionally was the most difficult thing I had ever done in my entire life. And I needed to pour back into me. I needed to stay focused and grounded and not listen to all the chatter that was around me because now I was an abused woman. I had been abused in my relationship. I was a victim of domestic violence, and it wasn't in alignment with who I knew myself to be. And so I felt like a false person. I felt like a fraud. I had only been doing motivational speaking for a year, so I felt like quitting because all of a sudden I walked into this new reality. I got in the mirror and I did these 3 sentences, and they transformed my life. I recommend you do them for 28 days. Do them longer if you want. I needed to do it for 6 months, personally, based on where I was. Every day for 6 months I did this. So I invite you to get in the mirror and complete the sentence, saying your name. So, Steve, you would get up in the mirror and you say, Steve, I'm proud that you. And you would give yourself 7 different things that you're proud of that you've done, and they have to be 7 different. And every day you can repeat some of the things you repeat the day before, but every day has to be different. And then you have to say something that you did just yesterday or just this morning, and then you also need to go back 20 years. So it would be, for me, Lisa, I'm proud that you were honest today. You were transparent. No matter who heard your voice, you were transparent. You took risks. Lisa, I'm proud that at 16, when you weren't ready to be intimate, you were willing to lose your relationship with your first boyfriend because you knew what you weren't ready for. So you go all the way back because we haven't celebrated ourselves nearly enough. We begin to think we're braggadocious or we're self-indulgent. How about you're great, Steve? How about you get to be your first cheerleader? Because when you're your first cheerleader, you show me how to cheer for you. And then the second sentence is, this one is harder. Steve, I forgive you for. Looking in your eyes, you forgive yourself for 7 things, something that's recent, and then go all the way back. And you can stay in one particular season if you need to. And what it looked like for me was, Lisa, I forgive you for not loving yourself enough to recognize you were in a toxic relationship when you saw the signs. Lisa, I forgive you for not being financially responsible with your money back then when you felt like you had to stay with them. You forgive yourself. You cut the shackles. You cut the shackles attached to shame, blame, guilt, and regret. You just cut them. Then the final sentence that you say to yourself, I promise if you guys just start doing this today, things will begin to transform for you personally, not around you necessarily, but in you. Then the final sentence is, Lisa, you would say, Steve, I commit to you that. And you make a commitment and a declaration to yourself that you know you can keep, that's going to hold you accountable to your dreams. So for me, it was, Lisa, I commit to you that. I will be the first example of how other people are supposed to love you. I will love you. I will hold you. I will embrace you so that people can see what's required to be in your space. Lisa, I commit to you that. I will listen to your internal navigational system. When it says it's wrong, I will listen. And when it says it's right, I will listen too. So before you ever introduce yourself to the world, before you pass by that magazine, before you turn on that news, you are confirming, you are celebrating yourself, you're forgiving yourself, and you're making a declaration to yourself. So you have gotten grounded in who you are, who you've been, and who you are becoming before you ever let anyone else pour into you. I promise you, you will not be rattled. Your level of ground, your level of stillness, your level of knowing, your level of self-worth, your level of value, all will go up, all by you, for you, with you. That's what I love about it.